Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Head, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion, your host, and welcome back to the Baseball Head, and another walk-off win by our favorite team, America's team, the New York Mets. Before we get this video, hit that subscribe button. I know you're excited. This was a great win for our Mets, and really very happy for Jesse Winker. Been on his case since before he got here. So I was very happy that he just absolutely just destroyed that ball into the stands to left center field. I mean, you know, it's funny. I wasn't thinking much about that at bat, but he felt behind the count 0-2. He got the pitch, it got to a good count at 3-2, and he hit that ball to the left field. I mean, I kind of felt that as soon as he made contact, that had a chance to go out, and you could see. He ripped his clothes off before he even reached first. I mean, my goodness. Ripped his clothes off. I mean, you know, I never seen a player run around the base without his helmet for. What an amazing, a lot of excitement there. And he was very happy. Because he hadn't really done much, really, quite frankly, since the Mets brought him in last month. So it was just great to see that kind of a reaction from him. I mean, he just had a good bat. And like you said in the postgame, he was just trying to get on base from Lindor and Vientos. But, I mean, you know, he came in the pinch hit. They said this is the sixth home run he's ever hit as a pinch hitter. He's a platoon player. He's a role player. And he filled the role the Mets needed. They desperately needed a big hit late in the game. And this is playoff baseball. We are watching playoff baseball right now. And quite frankly, this is exciting. Even though they lost last night, this was a really well-played series, aside from a couple of plays here and there by the Mets and the Orioles. Very well played by two really good teams. And the Orioles are, like I said, they are a serious contender in the American League. They're not a team to sort of sneeze at. So this was a hard-fought series by two teams that are playing well, and the Mets got the better of them. And this leads the Mets into a very good, very interesting road trip against two of the three the most difficult places they need to play at. Mets do not have a good history in San Diego, as we know. And that's a good team. They beat them 2 years ago in the postseason. And then they go to Arizona, which is, by the way, the defending nationally champion Arizona Diamondbacks. Those two teams have played very hard. They both teams could certainly win that division, if not get to wild card spots. But Jesse Winker got this hit tonight, this hit today, and it was in the perfect spot. He just had a great at bat. And like I said, the Mets had a really good game today. They played really hard today. They got great pitching from Sean Manaea, who pitched 5 no-hit, basically perfect innings. And you know, before he gave up the home run to what's his face. He had pitched really well. He's pitched really well the last month and a half. I mean, really the last 2 months. And he's done a great job, quite frankly. And he kept the Mets in the game. I would mention this, and I sort of was getting really irritated as this game was going on, how bad the umpiring has been just through this whole entire series. The game on Monday was not well umpired behind the plate. I can understand why the Orioles were very upset by the umpiring on Monday. And I can see Marvin Hudson's strike zone kept moving around in the 8th inning. That guy is a terrible umpire. But most of the umpires are terrible anyway. Wasn't it better when the umpires looked fat and lazy, but they were good umpires? These guys are in shape and they're terrible. They're just lazy. They're in shape and they're lazy. And that's part of the problem. And then, you know, we get to the 8th inning. We figure we're finished with the 8th inning. And they blew the call at first base. You're standing right there, asshole umpire. You're standing right there. And how does he blow that call? I don't know. Anybody could tell that the Mountcastle wasn't on the base when he caught that ball. You can see it from the naked eye. You can see it from behind because, you know, the camera is behind the plate next to the Mets booth. So you see it, but the guy's standing right there. You can't see it from where he's standing that he wasn't on first. But that's how bad the umpiring has been. It's been bad for years. And now they're using the replay as an excuse not to get the calls right. Are they going to use a robo umpire for first base? Because that's been the biggest problem too, is blown calls at first. We know 10 years ago, we had that blown call at first that ruined that perfect game with the Tigers. But anyway, I digress. This was a very important series for the Mets to get. They need to win 2 out of 3 against this team. This is a very good team. Now they have bullpen problems, which is going to really hurt them going forward, because if they don't have somebody to close the games out, Craig Kimbrell, who's been a Met thorn and on our side for a long time, he did not pitch well today. He gave up that home run to Vientos to dead center field. Vientos has got tremendous power to center field and right. So if there was one guy that was going to be able to catch up with that fastball, it would be him. Now last night he wasn't throwing that hard, Kimbrell, and Sir Anthony Dominguez, who had pitched really well against the Mets when he was with the Phillies, but boy, oh boy, I mean, they beat the hell out of him this week. Obviously Alvarez hit the home run on Monday, and now today Jesse Winker hit that home run. He was just going with the pitch. He was going with the pitch. He provided all the power in that pitch. Now the Mets go on this road trip. This is a very difficult road trip. And this is a very difficult team they're going up against this weekend. 4 games now. They're going to San Diego. It's a 6-hour plane ride to San Diego. Beautiful weather, palm trees. But that team in particular in San Diego, for many years, for 35 years, have given the Mets fits. And this is going to be one of the toughest trips they've had all year long. And then they go to Arizona. And that will really, I know a lot of people talked about it, but I can't say it enough. This is playoff baseball, and every game is going to be down to the last out. There are going to be games during this road trip that are going to be painful. But like I said, the Mets need to be no further than 2 games back in the loss column when we come back, especially not so much, after the road trip, but more when the Mets come back and they play the White Sox. So the White Sox are at the end of the trip. They played 4 games in San Diego, and then 3 games in Arizona. I think 3 games in Chicago. Mets need to be 2 games back of whoever the third team is in the wild card race. I would also mention the Braves are playing the Phillies right now tonight. They played them last night. They beat them 3-1. And they're 6 games behind the Phillies. And they are in Atlanta. So a lot of monkey business always goes on down there, to where teams that hit, for some reason, don't hit down in Atlanta. And the other team the Braves always seem to pull it out. Very, very suspicious. But anyway, that's another story for another time. But it's getting tight. We're running out of games now. We got 36 games now to finish the season. Biggest road trip. Every game is big, but this is the biggest road trip of the season. These 7 games against these 2 playoff teams. And the Mets could face them in the playoffs if they get to postseason. They get to October. So this is all previews. All these games now, the next 7 days, are previews of what we're going to be dealing with. And I believe the Mets will be in this until the very end, until the end of September. Keep our fingers crossed, and 3 weeks from now, when I am in Philly, the Mets will be in it, and we're going to have a lot of fun goofing on the Phillies. And I would mention the Phillies have not played well. They've not played well for quite a while. So they've sort of hit a bad patch in their season, to where their lead is shrinking. They've not played well. The Mets have played well. Now the Mets don't have one of the better records since the second half has begun, but they're there. We're right here, right there. We're not going anywhere. The team's not going anywhere. They played very hard. They've earned a lot of respect here, because in the past they've sort of wilted, but they're not wilting. Even when the Orioles kept tying this game up, the Mets seemed pretty confident they were going to pull this game out. And thankfully, Jesse Winker, who I've been very hard on, got a big hit and a big spot against a big team, and they needed it. It's a great send-off, and this was not a great homestand, we know. They went 5-4 on this homestand. This was not a very frustrating homestand, but this was a big win. Just like Monday was a big win after a bad loss on Sunday. So you let me know what you think about this video, of course. Keep the faith. We're in great shape. Just keep grinding. Just keep at it. That's 2 games back now, currently behind the Braves. 5 games behind, I guess, Arizona Diamondbacks. We're right there. Just keep the faith. Mets are going to do it. Just be positive. Don't be negative. Don't be complaining. Just enjoy the games. This is just the beginning. And thank you for watching this video. And of course, please subscribe to the Baseball Hut. And I'll see you later.